shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say to you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven.
But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift and there before the altar and go away. First be reconciled to your brother and then come and offer your gift.
25.
Settle matters quickly with your adversary, who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still with him on the way, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. I tell you the truth, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny.
27.
You have heard that it was said, do not...
What did they
You want me to wait? Okay.
Did they have this in the back?
527.
27.
Trouble.
27, 527.
Okay, the laws of Moses said, you shall not commit adultery, but I say anyone who even looks at a woman with lust in his eyes has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
29. 29.
If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell.
30.
If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better to lose one of your members than to have your whole body go into hell.
This is where we're at, guys, and you should have documentation. And on the documentation, it should be thou shalt not commit adultery, right? And if we look at thou shalt not commit adultery, that's the seventh commandment on when you go to Exodus 20 verses 10. So he's bringing something to our attention. He says, thou shalt not commit adultery. I asked the question before I ended it last week. I said, what is adultery? What does adultery mean to you? So I'm throwing that back on the floor, and then we can move forward. Anyone, what does adultery, the word adultery, mean to you?
Having an affair with someone other than a sexual relationship with somebody other than your spouse.
Okay.
Stepping outside of the marriage.
Okay. He says stepping outside the marriage. Okay. Anyone else?
For me, I think adultery is if you leave one spouse or you take your attentions and affections away from one spouse. Not even a spouse, it's more or less if you take, even with God you can commit adultery, because if you take your worship away and your love and your affection and time from Him and you put it into something else and make that more meaningful, that could be considered. So I think it's somewhat of abandonment too, of a covenant.
Okay, you said that. That would be called what, Steve? You said it last week.
I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Now it's going up to 72 cents. Okay, now you want to hurry up and get it? Breaking.
Yeah, breaking the covenant.
Breaking the covenant with God.
Right.
So you were right then, Charlie. It is the idea of breaking the covenant with God. But when you really stop and think about it, when adultery is committed, isn't it the idea of breaking a covenant with someone?
Yeah.
Someone, something that's going on where you've broken the covenant? Oh no, hold on, because I'm waiting on Calvin. Come on. You was having, okay? So watch this. So you're right with the idea of breaking a covenant. Guys, I want you to see something. When we started to look at the text, your text made it clear as a bell. It says in 27, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not commit adultery. So then I told you all from 27 to 30 is really what he's talking about. And he's built this around adultery. He wants us to see the act of adultery. So then, I wanted you to see this by pulling your paper. I've got thou shalt not commit adultery, right?
Right.
But one says what? One says what? To assure?
To assure the respect and protection of all families and neighbors, God will take vengeance upon those who destroy families through adultery.
So then what does adultery do?
Destroy family.
You see what I'm saying? It really destroys families. You say, what are you talking about? You say, well, it was between the husband and wife, and this is what destroyed family, not understanding. Now the children, now that child, you don't understand why they can't pass. Why all of a sudden their grades drop. You, all of a sudden, how they're acting up, how they going into a depression stage, and you don't even realize what's going on. And you said, what it is mommy and I are having, we're just having problems. No, it ain't just mommy and I. You have a tendency of wanting to hide something. You know, I don't want to create a problem for the child. You already have. You already have created a problem for the child, and the child has nothing to do with it, and you have destroyed a relationship. So there's something that's got to take its course in order for things to work out. One is what God would want. One is reconciliation. We talked about that. One is reconciliation. The other one is, that's the same thing. The other one is, yeah, same thing. Well, the other one is,
To bear fruit.
the other one is, that's not it either. The other one is, oh, it hurts. Divorce. Divorce. God gives, there's an option that takes place. There's an option that God opens when a covenant is broken. God then divorces. God too puts us away. God too says, you know, you broke this covenant. God then has the option of whether or not he wants to reconcile with us or he's done with us. You're going to hear something Sunday morning. That's what I'm working on right now. And it's very powerful. And you will know because you've been in this class to see what's going on. But now you've got two options, reconciliation. And you know reconciliation is not built upon the other person. It's built upon you. You working this out. Well, this person that has created a problem, he says, thou shalt not commit adultery. But watch this. His next verse says what? In 28 says what?
But I say unto you, oh, go ahead.
But I say unto you, go ahead.
That whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart.
So this is where he's at. So I wanted you to see this. So I told you that when you were reading this, one was to assume the respect and protection of all the families. All the families.
And
All the,
neighbors.
huh?
And neighbors.
All the families and
Neighbors.
and that's something. Do you see what sin, how the impact it produces? It goes beyond just in the family. Now your neighbors say, call himself a Christian. You hear what I'm saying? I knew something was going on all along. You hear what I'm saying? Now they do what? Now their point of view is what? Distorted. It's got a problem, right? Who are we to go out and bring to Christ? Did you catch it? And who are we to go out and bring to Christ?
You talking about it?
Do you think you can talk to your neighbor now about bringing them to Christ? Stop and think about it. They just seen something very ugly. They didn't see any of the act. They just asked, where's your wife? They just asked, where's your husband? Oh, we couldn't get along. And watch this. They got more street sense, common sense than a lot of us Christians do with biblical sense. What do you mean? You're saying, well, we just couldn't get along. They're saying, but I saw you many a times. I was watching how your behavior was. I could see it. And you got the nerves to ask me to do what? To come to work with you? For what? How can you even go to worship? They don't understand the forgiving God. In their minds, you've committed a sin that says you're done. Stop and think about it. This is where they're at. So they're saying it really needs to be put away. I want you to see this. Go back. Let's read your paper some more. He says what? 2.
To protect man from judgment and judgment of perishing in hell.
Come on.
3, to protect a man from sinning against his own body.
Come on.
Adultery is often said to be sexual unfaithfulness by a married person. This is true, but it is much more. Man's idea of adultery is shattered by Christ.
This is what you were talking about, Cheryl. Okay? Go ahead.
Christ says adultery is not only the actual act, but adultery is committed by one of 5 acts.
So your 28 then said, what if a man looks?
Upon a woman.
Right? If he looks upon a woman with lust in his eyes, he's already
Committed.
committed adultery. So then watch this. I've got the first one on my PowerPoint is what?
A deliberate
A look. Not just a look, but it's a what?
Deliberate.
It's a deliberate look. You watched her. You watched her when she, and I will use the church. You watched her when she came in the church and thought she was all that and then some. Or you thought he was all that and then some when he walked or she walked into the church. You went up to greet them, but your greeting was basically rolling eyes. You were looking at this person, or wondering eyes. You're looking at this person, and in looking at this person, your intentions are not good. But you said, hi, how are you? It's good to I'd like to get to know you. Everything okay? Hey, I'm so glad you're here. And you came out like you was this beautiful, nice, loving Christian when you came in. But y'all at the same time, she couldn't even get to the bench good before you was already checking her out. He couldn't even get to the pew or to his chair good before you were already checking him out. We understand the physical side of a person is what you are attracted to. Can't remove that because that's true. But as a Christian, you should be doing what? When this kind of temptation hits home, you should be doing what? You should say, and what do you mean by discipline? That's good, because that is exactly it. So what do you mean by discipline?
Turn away.
One is to turn away, right? So watch it, so I can't turn away. I just walked up to her and said, and spoke to her, so I can't turn away. Or can I turn away?
Change the way you do.
So watch this, you say, don't remove discipline. Because you said, what?
Turn away.
So I can't turn away. So what needs to turn away? What needs to turn away? What move? I thought somebody keeps saying it, but I keep hearing the mind.
The mind.
The mind needs to turn away.
Mindset.
Yeah, it's your mindset. I saw her, she's an attractive he's an attractive young man. Leave it there. You don't take it no farther. They're attractive people. Secondly, because of my thinking, meaning I thought she was hotter than 6 firecrackers, or he was really good looking when I came in, then what's my next move that I can do? You said the other one, I heard the other thought was what? I heard somebody said it was what? Somebody can speak it, flesh. Somebody said flesh. So you can't remove flesh. You can't remove flesh. That person is in front of you. So then what is the other thing that you can do?
Change your mindset.
We ought to change mind. So what else can we do? What you say? Come on. That's it. Now it's time to turn your eyes away. It's time as she's walking up to the pew, it's time for you to look another direction. It's quite obvious you think she's all that. Or it's quite obvious you think he's all that. So that watches, instead of you watching them walk all the way to where they're going, it's time to turn away. What is the other thing that you can do? Satan is busy, it's called deception. So what else can you do?
Right, yeah.
Okay. But something else you can want, Dwayne said another one. Don't approach this person by yourself. Or the other thing you can do is go to someone else. Go to someone else. You already feel, wow, this person is all that. So then what you need to do is then you walk away and go, because if you don't, what are you going to do?
You're gonna keep watching.
You're going to look. You've got to, you just said discipline. So you have got to discipline your flesh. Your flesh is taking control, and you need to take control of it.
I
Yes.
have a comment to that. I think that's wrong to turn away from a person, because where your thoughts may be there, that person's thought may really be looking for some salvation,
Go ahead.
and they can take it the wrong way that they're not wanted.
Okay.
However, I think as we
Okay.
become Christians, you put on Christ, you're not thinking of them in a carnal nature.
But I
That's
am.
my brother, that's my sister.
But I am.
That, you know,
But I am.
but I'm saying to.
I'm dealing with reality.
Okay,
but
so,
I am.
okay, this is what I'm saying. So you have a
Yeah, go ahead,
person that
that's all.
comes in
Yes.
and you're attracted to him or whatever. I don't think that it's right, because some people are coming from
I agree.
terrible situations.
That's
and
where I'm
looking-
at. I agree.
They're looking for help. They're
I
not
agree.
thinking that way.
I agree.
Okay, so if you have somebody in the church that they want to look up to or whatever, and that person has that mind thought, but they turn away,
Go
that
ahead.
could be offensive to the person coming in
Or
looking
it's,
for help.
or it's how I, everything is how I do it. Yes, I can still be very cordial and still move from it, yes.
Yeah, well, we have to, I can look away, but I have to erase the image,
Come on.
you know?
So that's your mind.
Yeah.
So that's your mind. So we've already talked about that mindset. It's got to be. What I'm saying is that what I'm trying to do is make this very real. You know, I'm a Christian. Well, I hate to tell you this, you have eyes. You do have eyes. So you still see what's in front of you. Yes, go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, the reality of it is, the more you become in tune with you,
Go ahead.
there are a whole lot of things that you just can't set aside. It requires practice. And you have to realize that sometimes your practice may start mentally. You have to start working on the mind, because the mind is so corrupt. You've been taking in things for years. And then if you entertain it, I don't know if you set out to do that, but because of this flesh that you're in, it has the ability to dominate you in such a way. They tell you this when you in therapy. You have countertransference and you have transference. You don't know who's going to bring up what for you. But you have to acknowledge it. You have to be aware of it. And all I'm saying to you is, it's not a one-time event.
You got it.
You can get away one time, but if you don't set it in motion and put it to practice, it'll continue to come up and continue to come up, and eventually it'll overpower you. And so oftentimes we want to dismiss our own human nature.
And that's what you can't do.
No, and that's, you gotta accept. Like if I'm sitting here right now, it doesn't stop thoughts from running through my mind.
Right.
I don't have to entertain the thoughts though.
Right.
That's the key. I allow those thoughts to pass, but I better recognize them. If not, I might try to think that I shouldn't be thinking this way, and that's all it takes. It's a little bit of your attention to whatever the thought is, to entertain it long enough. And if you entertain it long enough, you know you will physically act. And it may not be committing an act, but you will act. And if you accumulate enough acts, enough of them, you know, boom.
It's called sin. It grows.
The stronger you get in this, So the easier it is to control the
And
flesh.
watch this.
Because I'm
Here's-
telling you, you're
And
strengthening.
here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
All your thoughts or your suggestions are perfectly right. Make them real. Here's what I mean. Let's deal with reality. I've read the book too. I've studied the book, but that girl that just walked in was hiding 6 firecrackers. She was really well built. She was really well put together. But I'm the Christian. You stop thinking you're bigger than Satan. I'm going to run that by you again. You stop thinking you're bigger than Satan. Satan knows what you want. He's the one that sent it that way. He's the one that caused. The key was, I am not going to tamper with that which is mine. I'm in the church to tamper with that which is God's. That's what I'm coming after. Yes.
You know, I feel, this is me, because we all find people that are attractive, see people that are attractive.
You better know it.
Nice physiques,
You
have
better
nice
know it.
bodies. It's okay to mention it, but it is what you think on a different level. I mean, I look at the fact that if you're gonna allow it to get you aroused, then yeah, you're out of order. But if you just look at it as, this is an attractive person and go on, and at the end of the day, that was an attractive man. And I love to see attractive men, but I don't react.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is the beauty of it. So something did capture your eyes. Deal with the reality. It really did capture, or he or she really did capture your attention when they came in. So then I need to have options. Hear me? No, I need to have options. And the option would be, I still greet the person. That would be fair, to greet the person. Then my option would be for me to know me. Can you say that? For me to know me. She is, woo, she's good looking. So what's best for me?
Keep on trucking.
That's right, to back off. I don't care how we deal with it. What's best for me is, but I can go in denial and say, well, you know, I've studied God's word, so I've got this. You hear me? I can go into that kind of denial if I want to. Say, so you want to bet? You know what? You still think you're bigger than me. You're not bigger than me. I am a God that has come in. Yes.
But Christ is bigger than it all.
That's
So
right.
if you put your trust
I agree.
there,
I
and
agree.
if you cover yourself
I agree.
with the scriptures, you
I
don't
agree.
even think that way because you know he's watching you and you know that he's there. So in that sense, you are bigger than Satan because even if it's your old nature, if you keep studying to show yourself approved
I
and
agree.
put on that new nature, it's not carnal anymore.
Then why does Matthew 5:28, what does it say?
It says, but I say unto you, that whosoever look,
Whoa! What?
just look.
And then what is it?
Okay, but this is, okay, you read it, okay, you're a Christian, so don't look at her. Don't look at her.
But wait.
That's
Wait,
hold on. Okay, that's so good. I stirred this up. I want to stir this up.
I get what you're saying,
I do too.
but I stand in the back, okay?
Uh-huh.
Because I'm kind of partly in charge of worship.
Right.
Partly.
And I see women.
What do you mean partly? Stop all that partly.
And I know.
Well, we got a part-time ministry doing it. Let's work on part-time. We're going to talk about this.
Moving on. I know certain individuals, I won't say, but when I see a certain woman or a Christian woman walk in, I see where their eyes go.
Okay.
And one time I joked with them, but I was serious. But what I'm saying is, I understand you can read and you can study,
That's right.
but I always say, don't put yourself in situations where you're by yourself with that person. If you know on yourself, know that it's not good for you to be there, you know, to greet her by yourself or him by yourself. There's another thing. There's a movie called Beautiful Mind.
I saw.
And he, because he was schizophrenic, after time he realized that it wasn't going to go away.
Right.
So he always saw the girl and the man, the two men and the girl. He always saw them, but he just,
Ignore.
after years and years of going through stuff, he finally was able to just, set it aside. You know they're there,
He didn't act it
but
out.
he didn't act on it
on
anymore.
Mhm.
It takes time. What I'm saying though, but for some men, I can tell you some men that are single here,
That's my point.
they still look.
Oh, yeah. They look at the married women.
Yeah, I think that my wife tells me that somebody looked at her. So
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
do.
it's.
But where I am, I just wanna say this to you, because I totally get, and when we're in a Bible class, him, Calvert, and I just said it today, I'm picking up a lot of what he's saying, when you take self out of it, and when you remove self, but you have to realize, that takes some time.
You better know it.
And even though, and I'm not where you are, I don't know where you are, but I may not be where you are, but even though we study and we come to class and we pray or whatever, it's just like Pastor said, Satan is going to tempt us even worse, harder,
Yeah.
because we are here and we trying to do the right thing. Like you say, he's not going to mess with what's out there in the street, because those are his. He ain't got to worry about them. And he got some other angels out there that's taking care of them, making sure they stay steady, do wrong. But what's up in here, we're trying to do right, so he has to come up in here. Now, I'll just say, there have been a few nice-looking men that have come into church. Not many. I think my husband is great. But anyway,
Clean it up, baby.
yeah, clean that up. I think my husband is the best looking. There have been, in my 9 years
Now, go ahead,
here,
girl.
I've seen a couple nice-looking men come in, and
That's
you know,
fair.
and when they walk in, you look and you say, oh wow,
That's
you know.
fair.
But then I quickly looked and I said, but look at my husband up there singing. And I think in my mind, this is how I think. I said, I know it's a whole bunch of women that be there looking at him and they don't even know I'm his wife. Well, they will start now. But you know, so I have to kind of think that. So when you say, you know, because we have put on the armor of Christ, yes, we have, and we walk with that daily. Because that is what really helps us to get through a lot of the situations, even though we did look at him. It makes us not look any deeper at him. Like say, for instance, when that man came through, because I do have the armor of Christ, I know, oh, he's looking like Lenny said, oh, he's a nice looking man. But then, that's it. I'm back looking at this one.
But you did, but
If
it
the
was
thought was
there.
there, yeah, the thought came.
Can't remove it.
That's human nature.
Even with myself, during the course of my marriage, I've been married to Dwayne 32 years, you know, my job, going to the gym. You know, I have come across a lot of men, thought that I was nice looking. And in return, I, thought they were nice looking too.
Right.
You know, but I always just feel like it's not worth it. A thought may come, but oh, he's nice looking. But that's it. I don't take it any further because, I just feel like I have a wonderful husband at home, and there's nothing, wouldn't want to, nothing to mess that up.
Right.
Good. Calvin, oh no, Lenny.
I just.
It's nothing wrong with looking, to me, it's nothing wrong with looking at the way the Lord has blessed some people to have attractive features, as long as it stays in that perspective.
Yeah,
But when you start adding that lust part in there, that's where you out of text right there. You're wrong right there when you're thinking, oh boy, how you would like to get next to that person. You added more to it than just the physical appearance to it. You added more of a sexual thing to it. So I don't look at it. At the end of the day, I may see a guy that's attractive in jeans, but I'm going home alone. And after he passed, it's over. So,
Yes,
still may be lusting, but
Yeah, I was just gonna try to capitalize what I was just gonna say, all of us are here, I believe, because we have different wants and different desires. And that's why we're here. And my desire may not be your desire. Your want may not be my want. But things are going to come up. Things are going to come up. And they may not come up for me like they come up for you. And that's okay. But the point is, I'm no different than you. I might be a little more self-controlled. I might be a little more mature, because we're all on different learning curves in terms of where our spirituality is, in terms of where our maturity level is. And so you got to factor all this stuff in. You have to be at a place, even the best of the best. The best of the best. Get caught up. And I'm not sure if that's what the intention was, but sometimes when you think you're far removed from reality, then something hits you and knocks you on your behind. And that's what Warren is talking about. He's talking about, wait a minute, you look, you know you do. Because what makes you think that you're not human?
Right. You can't remove
It hadn't been turned off.
You can't remove that.
Even growing in Christ, it don't turn off.
Right. You can't remove
It's still active. Now, your place is to be self-controlled. And so when you're able to recognize certain things, hopefully, that others, because they may not be there, may not recognize. So if you see your thoughts, or you see your eyes, and you see whatever part of you is moving in a certain direction, then you have to identify, whoa, that was a close call. I haven't had that come up for me in a long time. Now, you see when it comes up, and you don't have time to think about it. So you have to be doing something so that you respond, I believe, automatically. So if I'm doing what I need to do, then when things come up, then hopefully I'll respond automatically with what's inside of me. And sometimes I may have to take a time out, collect and gather myself is what I'm saying. I didn't know that it would hit me like that, but sometimes it's just a reminder to let you know. I know you've grown, I know you've come a long way, but don't forget you're still human. And sometimes you get things like this to remind you. And Satan knows this better than anybody. And he plants it. He plants it. Just when you think you're comfortable, when you think you passed it, and
That's when you
go. Boom.
Here's what I was just saying, because I work in a workplace where it's preschool.
Okay.
I remember women running up and down all day
Okay.
long.
That's okay.
But now, if I wasn't a Christian, if I hadn't grown a little bit, I would be looking
It makes
in
sense.
a whole different way.
That's being real.
Yeah, but there's some of them, that's pretty provocative, but believe me, I've learned
Right.
to turn away.
That's it.
But I'm gonna look you right in my face.
I hear you.
I ain't blind. I'm not blind. But I know that I
Get
have.
you some more glasses. is what
But I have. But I don't do that, I just don't be out there just looking. I got things to do. But my thing is that knowing that my spirituality and I represent Christ, I am not going to come about, with a lustful or situation. They all know that, hey, I've been there many years, nothing but respect. But I had to learn that.
And they also all know your wife.
Well, yeah, they know that, but the thing is, I'm not just looking and lusting like, just keep my eyes out there, ooh, mercy. But because I know that Satan is, like I said, that's his, he's gonna run that by me. But being an ambassador, I have to, keep that kind of thing under control. The Bible Romans talks about not letting sin have dominion over you. So that tells me that there's going to be times where you're going to be tempted, but you don't have to let it take you over.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
So let's get real, and just like, like you can just be, because none of us are perfect. And I don't care how much we get into this.
I'm gonna reel this back in, guys. Taylor?
What?
Well, I can tell you right now, from my perspective, look where I work at. I'm in a 5-story hospital with all kinds of nurses of all types of races, shapes, and sizes. Every day for 14 years, I have seen one new one. I have seen all kinds of attractiveness. But at the end of the day, I get to know that person because I want to see who this person is. I'm not worried always about that physical part. And also, again, what attracts me the most is their personalities is what I really have to deal with, because in a professional manner, I have to deal with that part first. Coming from this perspective here, again, I've observed in all my 8 years of living over here and being in this church, I've seen plenty of nice, well-dressed people, individuals, okay? But at the end of the day, in the surface, what am I doing? I'm right back home. I don't worry about it too much. I know what I see, I know what I would like. But I don't act upon each and everything that I see. I'm not saying I'm blind. Lord knows I'm still human. However, I'm not expressing myself the way that I guess you see some of the fellas that I grew up with around. I got dudes, you know, a lot of us have friends who have kids in this, that, their areas and all this other stuff, and they acted upon stuff like that. I see that attractive person, but at the same time, my first other thought is okay, who are you on the inside? What kind of person are you? What kind of person can you be? Okay, because, yeah, we all see the physical. And like Calvary was saying the same thing. Everybody got different needs and wants and desires. But like I said, what about the fact of knowing just to know that person? You know, the attractive is one thing, but how do you know that person has that type of personality that you want to even deal with? You don't ever know that. I never know. You know, and I see so many things and so many people, and I've had people, oh, Steve, you need to talk to her. She's got good things. You're a good guy, da 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 da. I'm like, okay, but I've seen what this person does. I don't care how good she looks. I've seen how she acts. That's enough right there to have me, okay, man, I'm good. But the ones that are, again, I want to see what you are on the inside. I can care less always about the outside. Everybody has the outside.
Mindset that you chose.
Betty, did you have something? Cheryl, did you have something?
I do. We're getting off the point. It's
That's
not
what
that.
I'm gonna do, that's right.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
it's
running
not
back
that anybody's inhuman, it's just a maturity. You did those things when you were young, you did those things to me when you didn't know better. When you were with your little girlfriends, 18, in your 20s, you did that. Every guy, oh, he's so cute, I want, ooh. When you start reaching middle age and stuff, it just shouldn't be there. Now, the only reason why I even brought it up is because it's hard now that I'm not with my husband. No, when I first started church, nobody knew I was married because he didn't come. Same thing with my sister. Her husband didn't come, but they assume you're coming as a single woman, so you're treated differently. You're not wanting this person's husband. You're not looking at that person. You know, you just want to be friendly. You want to be accepted. But it seems more often than not, it's a thing that if you show up by yourself, everybody wants to clutch and they don't want to get to know you. If you knew me, you would know I was married. Okay, so the bottom line is, going back to what you said originally, I don't think people should turn away from people because of how they feel. I think they need to go to this and get it under control, because sometimes people are coming, you're really hurting and you need a family. So you're trying it out, you're coming to church. Nobody needs to be turning away from anybody because of what they can't handle. Because everybody's not coming in with an agenda, you know. They're really coming to be fixed, you know, whether it's mentally. Okay, so that's how I see it, so.
Now let's look back at the Bible. The Bible says in what?
Betty had something.
28 says, but
Oh,
I
somebody
said,
else had that?
Betty?
Betty?
oh, I'm sorry.
I'll just say this, it's the intent of the person. If you're going to church, because I have, you know, I was at this church once, and I do have a smile, because I'm friendly to everybody.
Yes.
And this gentleman walked up to me, and he was, just talking, and I was, glad to be here, blah, 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 blah. The next thing I knew, his wife walked up and says, "Here, take this baby." And he took the baby, and I didn't know what to do, what to say. I just said, "Oh, okay." And I just went on and sat down. But it was, he was just being friendly and welcoming me, for coming. So it's just the intent, it could be on either side. Because I guess she thought he was flirting.
And it's not even.
And he was just trying to welcome, so I guess it's just the intent or where the mindset is of the individual.
So if you pull your paper back, that says your PowerPoint.
PowerPoint says, a deliberate look,
Come on.
passion within the heart, desiring and lusting. The actual act of sex with someone other than one's own spouse.
And that includes the CBS Act.
Come on.
Divorce relationships. Spiritual unfaithfulness toward God or apostasy from God or make us more susceptible. What is it? Susceptible. Can I get this word out? To temptation. Yes, that's it. In Jewish culture, the right eye and right hand represented a person's best and worst precious faculties.
Best and most.
Oh, best and most precious faculties. The right eye represented one's best vision, the right hand, one's best skills.
So then now let me deal with this. Look at 28, says, "But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman," we've talked about all these looks. He says to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Then I've heard all of the thoughts that have been said. But the text says if you were to look at her with lust in your eyes, watch this, you can't remove it. It is lust. I said stop and become realistic. Be real. Maybe you haven't seen anybody that has drawn or caught your attention like that. But you can't tell me you haven't read up on somebody that you thought really looked good. Hello? And lust didn't run through your mind unless you're inhuman. Because even a gay person has the same thinking, has the same thought. So you can't remove it. Maybe that's why Jesus, when he sat down, said, "Let me talk to you, not you talk to me. Let me talk to you. Let me tell you what's going on in your life that you're in denial of, that you're running from, but these things are true." Well, he made this statement in 27. He says what? He says in 27, he says what? You have heard, come on.
That it was said by them of old time.
You have heard that it was said by them of what? Old time. The issue then is what? Thou shalt not commit adultery. So he says what I want to bring to your attention then is this. Because adultery then would have been the idea of me actually touching or doing the physical thought. He's saying, but I want to bring to yourself a spiritual thought. Now I made the statement, but if you look upon a woman with lust in your eyes, you've already committed adultery. I'm sorry, Casey. So then watch this. If that be the case, then what in the world are you talking about, Jesus? I would have been sitting there, I don't understand. We all have eyes. We all can see. And I don't know about you all, but I was in a career that they came through. They came through doors, okay? So wait a minute. So what do? You're going to look. He's not speaking about how you see it. Jesus is talking about
Your first PowerPoint was what?
A deliberate.
It's a deliberate look. It is, Jesus is talking about a premeditated act. That's what he's talking about. So by looking at the text, you think he's saying, well, if I look, so I better be careful how I look. Then what are you going to wear, blinders when you come in? Because the physical side of you is going to look. I think I had to tell somebody the other day, I'm a preacher, and if you think I don't look good, then I need to stop lying to you. And you need to stop lying to me. That's reality. That's real. You're going to look. I understand the controlling factors that we are to go through. I understand that. So then if this is the case, then I've already looked with lust. He says, no, you didn't. Yes, you did too. Because I looked at you physically. Yes, I did. I saw you physically. And then the way women are dressing today, you ain't got to imagine no more. It is there. You ain't even got to imagine no more. You used to have to go to the clubs to see something. Now they got a day club called the gym. Now they got a day club. Clothing. The clothing are, I want to be comfortable. So what are you wearing? Things that can't get no tighter on your body. So stop and think about it. So you're wearing things that create problems for yourself, and you don't even realize it. But watch this. Adultery, according to him, is built around marriage. It's built around marriage is what he's talking about here. So watch this. He will address the single person, but he's addressing the issue that's on that floor. You got some married folks running around here and they're pretending like they haven't done anything when they've committed adultery. And you've been waiting for an answer. And so Jesus says, I want to give you the answer. I told you when we go farther into this, he's going to tell you, he's going to give you an answer that, watch this, that's always been there. But we have always avoided because we got to figure out an outlet. We need an outlet because I've been married before. You try to tell me I can't marry no more? Wait a minute. I did something. You tell me God can't forgive me? All these things run through our minds. Jesus says, let me deal with them. Let me deal with it right here in this text. Let me give you something. It's premeditated to look upon a woman with lust in her eyes. What do you mean in your eyes? What do you mean? It's 3 o'clock, she just walked past, somebody walked past out of their apartment and caught your eye. And she just barely had anything on. And she walked past you and Bill wasn't a word. What do you think you're going to do come 3 o'clock tomorrow?
Be right there waiting on her to pass me in.
You see what I'm saying? That's a deliberate act. That is the act. That is the act. Now all of a sudden you pretending like you got another flat tire. Because you need to sit out there to wait for this person to come again. Or the woman is saying, well, you know, he came by and I remember he came back this time. So, you know what? Watch this. Although I'm married and I don't dare do anything, but that guy sure was a good looking guy. And he came by, he came by my office at 2 o'clock. So, I normally go to lunch at 2. I ain't going no more. I will wait now to make sure that when he goes past, I get to see him. He's well dressed. Hear me? He's well dressed. I don't care how dressed you are. It's in the mind. It's in the mind. You can be fully dressed and walking around completely naked. It's in the mind of the individual. So then he is saying here, this is something that's built around premeditation. If you look up at a woman with lust in your eyes, he says, I want you to bring something to your attention. You committed adultery. You've already committed adultery. Can't be because I looked at her caused the problem. Then God is saying, you're not human. You are human. God knows you're going to look if they're attracted. I'll never forget it, that day when me and Jacques were together. I'll never forget it. We went to mall to go get something for the church. We get something. And it just so happens, as we're walking down, two very young girls, very attractive, and came towards us. So I said, oh my goodness, look at here, look at here. I said, look at here. I said, Lord have mercy, look at it, look at here. No, you said, no, Jock said that. No, I said that. Look at here, Lord have mercy. Watch this. They walked up to me. Wait a minute, what were you looking at? What do you think? That's reality. So then watch this. Then guess what? They want to hold a conversation. I says, what I want to do is I got to ask you one question. First, what is your name? Told me the name. Jock was all interested. I says, then here's my next question. My next question. Where is your mama and your daddy? They started laughing. They said, what do you mean by that? Because, sugar, this ain't true. These is genes here. These are genes that have caused, I want to see what mama and daddy look like, because them genes came together and you are beautiful. Now, someone will say, well, then you were flirting. No, because when I made the statement, that clicked them. Wait a minute, what you got to do with my mama and daddy? When I teased about it, then I said, Jock, you ready to go? Well, Jock wasn't ready to go. But I said, let's go now. Let's get out. Let's go now. Let's get out. I'm done. I was just having fun. But the point is, even in my coarse joking, even in what I've done, I created a problem for somebody. For John. Did you hear me? Because it looked like I was saying, I accept this. When I've never accepted it. But this is what we have to be careful with. Even your joking. Even how you joke can cause a problem. Can create it. Even how you speak can create a problem. See, I understood I was married. And at the time he was too. But he didn't understand. But I understood where I stood. So watch this. So then the next move would be for then us to go back about that hour and see if we can see them coming back down here again. But you see what I'm saying? That would have been, now Brother Thompson ain't with me, so I got to make this move and get back down this way and see if they coming through here again. But you see what I'm saying? So it's premeditated that he's talking about here. He's talking about something that's been premeditated. It's been all, you sat around here, you laid it out. So now your looking has become lust. It has leaned towards lust now. So now you got a problem. No, he can't be saying that. Watch your next verse. Your next verse says what?
29.
Says what?
And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell.
So then watch this. He says what? That's 27 and 20.
No, that was 29.
29. Watch this. So then he says in 30, he says what?
And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of the members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
So he's saying, pull your paper. We need to find out what is offense. What do you mean by offense? So he says anything that makes you stumble. Read it. This is what he's saying.
Offending or stumbling. The word offend means to stumble, to be baited, to be lured, to be tripped up. The eyes and the hands are stumbling blocks. Surgery. Cut off the offending body member. The lustful look and the lustful touch should be cut out of one's life completely.
So then here's the question. So then you need to pluck your eye out, right? Your right eye out? Or you need to cut your right hand off.
We ain't doing that.
But that's what he said. Because that's how you looked at it at first. So you took it for what it says, instead of going into it deeper to find out what he's talking about. So he says, I want to bring something to your attention. It is your eye that's caused you problems. It's making you stumble. So what do you do to stop from stumbling?
Turn away.
Turn away from it. It is your hand that is touched. What do you need to do? Pull it back. Don't let it do that. I made the statement. He says, and he says, touch. Is what he says, hands, touch. I said, he was talking about male and female.
Yeah, you didn't read that.
Because he was talking about the idea of a man, all he has to do is what? He looks and he lusts. But the woman, the way she's built, she's emotional. So then he touches. And in the touching, now she's aroused. So he's saying, here's the man that can look and become aroused. Here's the woman that can touch and become aroused. You didn't think he was all that. You didn't think he was all that good looking, but he touched your hand. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. He's used what Satan says to use. 1 John 2:15. He says, the lust of the flesh. What he says, the lust of the flesh. Then he says, the lust of the eye. Isn't that amazing? So he says, it's your flesh that's gotten you in trouble because it's your eyes that are looking for it. That's where he's going with this. He's dropped something on them and they got to now stop because now they're saying, I don't understand what he must be talking about me. They sitting back there saying, wait a minute, because my understanding was adultery. So then watch this. Your Bible says what in 31? Says what in 31? Says what?
Furthermore, it has been said.
And then it says what? No, come back. Then it says what? So watch this. Furthermore, it says what? It is the continuation of the thought that he's been talking about. So watch this. Some are saying, whoa. Go ahead and, go ahead and look. Jesus says, furthermore, I want to bring something else to your attention. He says what?
Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce.
Then he says, whoever divorces his wife, let him give a certificate of divorce. So we'd have to run to Deuteronomy.
It has been said.
So your Deuteronomy, your 24 says something. Because that's where they got it from, like you said, Steve. It has been said. So this is where they're pulling it from. Because there was a school that you all don't know anything about back in the days. It was called the Hilldale School. It was 24, 1 through 4. So it was the Hilldale School. It was a school that someone else came out of by the name of who? P-A-U-L. So it was a school where the Jews were big, where you would go to learn the law. So he's bringing something to their attention. And watch what he says, because the Jews have said, and here's what, once again, something misunderstood. Your Bible says what? Go
When
ahead.
a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her.
So guys, the Hebrew word would be Shammai. So watch this. Shammai would be the idea of unclean. Gotta see this. So you've got Shammai, S-H-A-M-M-A-I. Shammai is what he's saying this is. So watch this. Here's something that's been given. A law that has now been poured out. A law that has now been given. And the law then, how you read it, would be the idea of what? A law for what?
Divorce.
Divorce. That's how we would read it. But you need to see something. Read.
Again.
Yes.
When a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand, and sends her out of the house. when she has departed from his house and goes and becomes another man's wife, if the latter husband detests her and writes her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand and sends her out of the house, or if the latter husband dies who took her as his wife, then her former husband who divorced her must not take her back to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and shall not bring sin on the land which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance.
So then, I hope I wrote it down. So then there's the idea. You've got 4 basic interpretations. See it? 4 basic interpretations.
4 basic interpretations of the biblical data on divorce and remarriage are possible, and all 4 are found to be held in various Christian circles. The strictest view is that divorce is not permissible under any circumstance or for any
That's
reason.
one view. Go ahead.
The opposite position contends that both divorce and remarriage are permissible for any reason or none.
That's another one.
The other 2 views lie between those extremes. One is that divorce is permitted under certain circumstances, so remarriage is never permitted. The other is that both divorce and remarriage are permitted under certain circumstances.
How about this one? One is that divorce is permitted under circumstances, but remarriage is never permitted. How about this one? This is what the church has been teaching. How about that one? How about once you divorce, it's over? I've always made the statement